What's going on, Badger Nation? Welcome to the PPC Den podcast, your source for all the latest Amazon advertising tips, tricks, and strategies to keep you ahead. Ryan, what is up? How are you doing? Happy Thanksgiving, because it's right around the corner here.
Hey, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. You know, it's the seasons are changing. Where I'm at now, we're getting to we get all the fall colors. Leaves are coming down everywhere in our neighborhood right now, and so I mulch them up every week. I just mulch them up. That's what I do.
You know, for a lot of people, Thanksgiving is their favorite holiday because of the food, primarily. Is it your favorite holiday?
I think it's up there.
It's up there.
It is definitely up there. I get to see my whole family this year, and COVID's obviously been weird the last couple of years, but we got a game plan to see everybody, which is awesome. And yeah, man, I love football, and I love food. You combine those two, and on my family, all three of those, I'm set.
That's solid. I love it. So today is going to be a very special episode. You know, it's Thanksgiving time, so you often do some reflection for things that you are thankful for. And one thing that I know that I'm thankful for and you're thankful for is definitely this podcast and the people that listen to this podcast. And we wanted to do something to sort of Thanksgiving gift, so to speak, to sort of show our thankfulness for the community. And we actually put together a resource. And I actually asked on my LinkedIn, a place where I'm trying to be more active. And I basically said like, hey, you know, one of the most frustrating things about Amazon PPC is that sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display, they're all different. Like the different targeting options, different kinds of reports, different ad types, so many different kinds of things. That wouldn't it be cool if there was one spot on the internet you can go to that had all the details on it? So like how to do different targeting. Because Ryan, I find myself so often, people will ask questions where it's like, oh, for sponsored brands, can you do negative keyword targeting? And sometimes people like sort of scratch their heads like, wait a second, can you? What are the targeting options for sponsored display? I don't remember. Like it can be really, really difficult. And I know this is something that, you probably deal with, when you're in there optimizing campaigns as well. Absolutely.
And you know what, I've even learned as we've kind of gone up, we've spent over almost 2 hours working on this document, just diving in. I mean, you notice subtle differences in, and they may have made changes in the last couple months, but it's I think that our community, specifically those that are diving into Amazon PPC every day, this is going to be a great resource. I'm actually going to refer to it quite a bit,
big time,
because it'd be nice. We were just like, well, it would be nice to have a mind map to see what different options are in these different campaigns, and we got it for you. So. I think it's pretty good. Probably, everything could be refined in the future, but this is a great starting point, in my opinion.
The post that I shared on LinkedIn ended up with 4,000 views and going on 45 comments with nearly 100 likes. And this is coming from me who had a LinkedIn, I hadn't posted in a long time. So my algorithm juice wasn't in high gear. So to go from zero to share something like this and just have people, a lot of people commented, Megan saying this is incredible, and Abe, great dude, saying definitely want to see this. There's so many people commented. Stephen Pope mentioned, don't worry, Amazon will change the ads in 5 days. You'll have to change it up. So I think what is the point of having a reference document like this? I think it's really important to, when you are building campaigns, to really be sure that number one, you're covering all your bases. So each individual targeting type available on Amazon can be its own little campaign. And the more you sort of work your way through all the different targeting types, make yourself aware of it. Where can these ads appear? You can start to answer questions like, well, I want maximum visibility for like my best products. So like, where can these products actually appear? You'll want to know that. And it's helpful to have a reference document to be sure you're covering all of your bases. When you think about what kind of audiences can I be targeting, or how can I target in sponsored display, new ad type, you'll want to know like a little reference document so you can go refer to it and say, okay, like, did I launch a audience-based targeting with views remarketing, as well as, similar product retargeting? Those kinds of things I think could be really helpful at giving you ideas to launch new campaigns, to cover all your bases, and expand out. So that's some of the power of having a document like this, to sort of review it periodically. Like, did I launch all the campaigns that I should be launching? Because as we know on Amazon, the more various kinds of campaigns a product is in, the more visibility it has. Generally, that equates to more sales and momentum for your brand. So that's some of the reason I wanted this document internally, in addition to just the fact that it's very easy to get confused and forget, like, does that ad type have a search term report? Because for a long time, sponsored brands didn't have a search term report. So it's helpful to know, like, oh, am I using all the reports that are available to me? Like, can I get a search term impression share report in sponsored brands? Yes. Can I get it in sponsored brand video? No. So it's helpful to know, like, what is available to you so that you can ideate ideas on what to look at, how often you should look at it, so that you can, make the most of all the tools that Amazon has available to you. So love this document. Yeah, it's great. And I would also, I want to throw in there too, like, I think one of the things that, as I'm getting to know our clients in particular, high level PPC managers, or, companies that, individuals that run their own company and they do their own PPC, is the constant challenge of being in the weeds, right? And not being able to see because you're in the weeds, but be able to take a step back and look at a strategic level. And so I think looking at a document like this, rather than, diving into something that we learned is the refinement feature in, I forget what it was, like sponsored products, the category targeting versus the category targeting and refinement feature in, I don't know, sponsored display, one of those two. They're a little bit different, right? You can get lost in all of the weeds. Having a document like this, you can go to it very quickly, kind of look to see, all right, should I be focusing my energy here, and then pull back at that strategic level. Because I think the most successful Amazon PPC managers, business owners, are able to have a strategic focus and moving forward. Yeah. So in terms of where to find this document will be hosted on ClickUp, which is a tool that we use to help stay organized. And it's a mind map. A little under the hood, we're actually in the process of switching from Asana over to ClickUp, which is some inside baseball. I'm a big fan of like project management tools and seeing what's out there. And ClickUp is where we're transitioning a lot of our, procedures and whatnot. But anyway, this is going to be hosted on ClickUp, and you can get the link to it in the description of this. So if you're watching it on YouTube, it should be in the YouTube description. If you're listening to this on a podcasting app, it should also be in the description. So just click on that and get it. And in terms of, how to work with it, the first things to know is when you first open it up, you can actually, this is view only. So you can like click any of the plus and minus signs and expand out or collapse a certain category. So if you only wanted to dig into sponsored products, you can, by the way, I'm sharing my screen. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see some of what I'm looking at here. So you can sort of collapse different areas. If you just wanted to look at the report types for sponsored products, you can see that and maybe just collapse the other parts, just like I'm doing on screen. So that's a really cool little neat feature there. And then in terms of like working with this, using this as a reference document, what I just started using on Slack? It's awesome. So Slack, which a lot of people use for work, Slack has this option that basically you type in a word and it returns a link. It just returns something to you. So like our company guidebook, So if you're in our Slack, you can type in company guidebook and it'll automatically prompt you with a link to our company guidebook. So you can just click on it. So one cool thing would be in a Slack channel to actually go in and type in like add type chart or add type mind map, and then have Slack memorize it for you and return it. So you don't necessarily need to remember it. So like I can easily imagine being in a situation where I was like, what's the link to that? Go over to the Slack and type it in and get that sent back to you. I know like I missed the boat on bookmarks, so I don't bookmark many things, but like I'll use that feature. So I think that's a really cool way to do it. Another cool way to interact with this on a periodic basis is to, like I mentioned, just check to be sure that you have everything, you have all your bases covered. So like scan through this, and I definitely think it will point out a feature you didn't know you had available. So like sponsored brand campaigns have keyword targeting, and they have modified broad match, which is different than sponsored brands normal broad match. So there's some cool things that you can sort of learn and discover or rediscover if maybe you looked at it and have forgotten it, to be sure to do it. Another cool way to, I think, interact with this is the report types section.
Yes. So
I think this is a cool thing because, hopefully by now, what kinds of reports there are available to you, and like how to get the most value out of it. Like we've done episodes on how to use a search term impression share report in sponsored products, or how to use the category benchmark report for sponsored brands. And it's really just helpful to see a reminder that, hey, these reports exist and you should be referring to them on a periodic basis. So I think that's a really cool thing to see there, to sort of recognize like, hey, sponsored brand video doesn't have all the report types that I need, but it does have a search term report, which is neat because you can't really see the search terms in the interface. So you need to go into the reports to see that. So I like that feature a lot. Another cool thing is we also listed what things don't have. So like we listed that sponsored brands don't have ad groups, they don't have budget rules, there's no placement bidding, there's no budget tab, so that new budget tab is not available for sponsored brands. But what is it available for? Boy, I wish there was a reference chart so that I can see that, so I know now that there is the budget tab for sponsored products. So there's a whole bunch of stuff, it's a whole bunch of utility that I think goes into this, and I really dig it. Any other thoughts on this, Ryan, as we sort of wrap up this episode so people can go and actually start digging into this?
Yeah, one of the things that you had one of our other podcasts, you had talked about the Amazon power ratio, right? And right, so you're focusing on obviously the majority of your energy of the ads that are working, and that you're constantly testing new ads to see what's working. And if you find yourself and you've been lazy in your testing, right? What a great way to open up this document and say, you know what, I need kind of like a little inspiration to get creative and the new ad types that I want to test. This is a great way to do it, right? This is a great way to dive in and say, I'm gonna take a look at, Amazon has invested quite a bit in sponsored display over this last year. I'm going to open up. I'm going to close down, these tabs in the sponsored display and the sponsored products. I'm going to open up sponsored display. I'm just going to take a look, and I think too, for those who are listening to this and have been in PPC management for a while, there really is an art to it as well, because the human intuition of being in and working in Amazon ads, your instincts are going to grow, right? And so having a mind map like this could say, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going, with this one particular brand that I've been working with for a year and a half, where can we get them more traction? Oh, you know what? I've had some great success in product targeting in my sponsored products. Let's double it up in sponsored display. Let's put them, let's open up maybe similar campaigns that you've been running in sponsored products with certain products you've been targeting. I know that I'm making money on a lot of these ASINs. I'm gonna try these ASINs in new product targeting and sponsored display and be kind of all over the page and not necessarily in one or two spots. I think it's a great document to kind of just maybe inspire and refresh to really go after some of those testing elements that you may have just kind of left dormant for a little bit.
Amen to that. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoy this Black Friday, Thanksgiving. Thank you. So check it out. The link is in the description of this episode, and we will catch you next week. Same time, same place, same podcast here in the PPC Den. Have a good one, everybody.
Take care, y'all.